Hello, everyone. Welcome to Body Bags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Tats, and the movie that I want to talk about, I just saw, and you can see too because it's free on Tubi. The movie I want to talk about is called Festival of the Living Dead, and is directed by the Soska sisters, Jen and Sylvia. And this movie is honestly, I'm actually pleasantly surprised by this movie. This is a movie that it kind of, from the outset, you kind of look at it, it's like, it may be like, you might start thinking like, oh boy, is this going to be one of those kind of movies? Is this going to be one of those kind of woke movies and stuff? But this, I think, the thing that I like about this movie is that you could have what you would call like woke elements in it, but you could still make a good movie. You could still tell a good story. You could have certain kind of representation and stuff in a film, but you could do it well and still make a good movie. And I think that that's where this movie, that's what piqued my interest, and that's what made me want to make a video and talk about it. The story is basically, it's supposed to be kind of a quasi sequel, take place in the same universe as Night of the Living Dead, and we are introduced to our main character. Her name is Ash, but get an Evil Dead reference. So, but her name is Ash, and it's her birthday, and her friend Iris is coming over and wanting to spend time with her and hang out and all this kind of stuff and celebrate her birthday. Which, okay, cool, great, no problems there. However, like I said, that this movie is supposed to take place in the same universe as Night of the Living Dead, and it is basically, well, it's not hinted at. It's, the idea is that Ashley is actually the granddaughter of Ben from Night of the Living Dead, and there is a picture, and it's not, doesn't, I could be wrong, but it didn't really look like Dwayne Jones to me, but I don't know. But there is a picture, like a memorial picture, and Ben, I think it was Connors was his last name. But anyway, so yeah, there's Ben, and then they have it's, you could tell it's supposed to be the rifle that Ben used from Night of the Living Dead, the same kind of like, I think it's like a Winchester rifle, I think. Sorry, I'm not a leading expert on guns, but so anyway, so at first they're wanting to celebrate her birthday, and then Ash, she has a little brother, and the little brother is wanting to spend time with her, but the problem is that Ash, she's a girl who's getting out of high school, she's about ready to go to college, and everything else. So she's at that time of her life where kind of like hanging out with her brother isn't really her high priority and stuff. Plus, you kind of find out that Iris is kind of the kind of a little bit like the I don't want to say outsider, but she's not the one who has like a big circle of friends, and stuff. She has, I'm sorry, the character's name escapes me, but she has a friend who, he's he's handicapped. I'm trying to find the right words here, but he's handicapped. He's in a wheelchair. He has no legs. He has no bottom half. So anyway, but her, Ash's boyfriend and their friends, or his friends, they come along as, kind of like, so we find out the situation is that Ashley was, best friends with Iris, but then as time went on, she started dating this cool guy, the kind of cool jock type guy, and she kind of moved away from her brother and Iris and stuff, and kind of moved into this cool circle of friends, and so when they come over and they're talking about they want to celebrate her birthday and stuff like this, so she's kind of more, going with the cool kids and stuff like this. So, uh, you know, they were talking about like her boyfriend has got her tickets, and for her birthday, got her tickets to the Festival of the Living Dead, which is basically kind of like a, I guess, like Burning Man kind of a thing, kind of a Coachella kind of festival and stuff, where they commemorate, the alien, the zombie apocalypse, from Night of the Living Dead and stuff like this. And so they decide, Iris, being the good friend that she is to Ash, she decides she's going to go ahead and, I'll watch your brother, and then, you can go ahead and go with your friends and all this kind of stuff. And so they head out. And so Iris's friend. Like I said, I'm sorry, I forget the character's name, but he comes over and they're hanging out, getting high, and they're watching and uh, so like as Ash and her friends, they're taking drugs and all this kind of stuff, and kind of typical kind of like victim fodder for like a horror film, but almost feels more like these kind of kids feel like they should be more like a wrong turn movie or Friday the 13th movie rather than a zombie film. But on their way there, they realize like there is zombies are coming back, and I this here is it's a little bit vague, but it's kind of like they kind of hint like in this case there's like this drug that everybody's passing around they're taking, and it's making everybody sick and eventually turn into zombies. And so at this festival, slowly but surely people are turning into zombies and stuff like this. And so meanwhile, Iris and her friend, they realize like, oh my God, yeah, they're finding out on the news and stuff like that. Wait a minute, there are people being attacked, people are being eaten, all this kind of stuff. And they're like, Ash is there, and we need to go see if we can get her, make sure she's safe, and all this kind of stuff. And then her brother decides, Ash's brother decides that he wants to tag along and stuff. And so they go to try to get them out, and it turns into a zombie film. They go to this festival, and there's zombies going around killing people, eating flesh, and everything else. And one thing I can definitely say is like kind of fun is you could tell. Like watching this film, you could definitely tell, this movie may have like some flaws and gaps in the story or whatever, but you could tell that the Soska sisters definitely had fun filming the scenes of zombies tearing people apart, and like what George Romero would call like the kind of like the banquet scenes, where the zombies are eating people and pulling limbs and stuff apart and all that kind of stuff. So you definitely get a lot of good gore, but it is your kind of zombie movie, what you would expect and everything else. A little bit kind of paint by the numbers, but one thing is, like I said, the thing is like, okay, obviously, the character of Ash, she's more, I think the actress is more kind of mixed race. You could tell she's like, she's definitely African American and stuff, but, kind of light skin. That's not a big thing, doesn't matter. But anyway, so you could tell though that one thing that is really, really great about this is that the female character of Ash is someone she has flaws, and she does go through this character arc. And then as the movie progresses and everything else, she is someone who, she realizes she's not perfect, but she has to go through things. She has to try to adapt and become a better person and stuff like this. As the movie progresses, like her brother confesses to her that he honestly thinks that she hates him because, she doesn't want to spend time with him and everything else. And she realizes, like, she comes to realize, oh my God, she starts to realize how much she loves her little brother and how much she is determined to save his life. And, so that's a really good character arc for her to go through. In this day and age, I'm like, if this movie was seriously woke, okay, it's like, the thing is like, like I said, Ash is a woman of color, her boyfriend is a white guy and everything. Like, if this was really woke, like she would have, like, spoiler alert, but when her boyfriend turns into a zombie and she has to put him down, if this movie was really woke, she would have no problem. I mean, if anything else, she would be more than happy to put down a white man, and stuff like that's how they would do these kind of movies nowadays. But the fact that, you see that, Ash is actually a person with heart and she cares and stuff. And that's one of the things that is so good about this, because a lot of these movies nowadays, usually like when you have a female lead, they're so cold and they have no feelings. They have no, they're just like, they're almost like robots. They have no feelings. They don't care about anybody, nothing. They're not human. They're not relatable on any level, but that's what's great about this is that Ash is you're watching this like, wow, okay, this is well done. I can relate to this character because she comes off as a human being. She comes off as real and stuff like this. And then, you have the character of Iris who, it's like, there is kind of like this hint that maybe that Iris maybe has kind of like a kind of basically kind of a love, like almost more than friendship, kind of love for Ash, but it's kind of like it's not really explored. If anything else, the character of Iris is kind of explored to be something more of like, kind of more like you would say maybe more like okay, maybe she's more like bisexual and stuff like, which I mean that's fine and everything because her friend who the the one I keep forgetting his name, but he's in the wheelchair and stuff. He has no legs. At one point, he and Iris, or he and Ash, they're talking and stuff like this, and she's talking about like how yeah, I'm kind of surprised that you and Iris never got together, and it's very clear that you like her and everything else, and he explains to her that he's like, I never pursued it because the thought of her rejecting me or the thought of her, like never wanting to talk to me again or wanting to keep distance from me, he's like, I can't handle it. And he's like, I would just, he's like, I love her so much that I would much rather have her in my life as a friend than not have her at all. And so you get some really good character moments. And one thing I will say that, even though this character is handicapped, but one thing that is actually really nice and something we haven't actually seen in a horror movie in quite a while is a positive white heterosexual male character. And that, and it's like, doesn't matter that he's handicapped, that doesn't make it, I'm just like, I remember watching the movie, I'm just like, wow, actually a good white straight guy in a movie, in a horror movie and stuff like this. And when, the thing is like when the chips are down and all this kind of stuff, and of course, it's like, it's a zombie movie, so you got some characters who got to be like the asshole and stuff. I mean, we're used to that, but this character, like, one thing I was like, wow, that's something we haven't really seen in a movie for a long time, is a straight white male character who acts and does things as a hero would do, Like there are parts like in the movie, like they want to kill Ash's brother because he has an asthma attack. It turns out he suffers from asthma. And so at one point in the movie, they're talking about they want to kill him because they think that he's turning, but it turns out like, no, he's got asthma. And this guy does everything in his power to make sure that this kid survives. Like, it is his goal to make sure that this kid lives at the end of the film. He jumps in, like, I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like, this guy will literally jump in front of zombies. If it means saving that boy's life, he will do it. He has no fear. He has, well, he's got fear, of course, but, it's like, he has no problems jumping in front of zombies to save this kid's life. And, he has no problems, stepping up and being a hero and, doing what he's got to do, to save the child, to save Iris, to save Ash, to save his friends and the people that he cares about. And it's all like, that's something we haven't really seen, And I mean, I know that the idea is like, well, really the only reason they did that with that character is because he's handicapped, but it's like still, it's like, just the fact that we haven't really seen something like that with a straight white male character in a while. It's just nice to see it, And just, to have like a character's like, okay, fine, yes, finally, thank you. Somebody we can relate to. Somebody that's, like a character that we can root for, and all this kind of stuff. So it was really nice to have that in there. But like I said, this movie, honestly, it really surprised me. It's like, if you're going into a thing like, oh boy, it's going to be one of those kind of movies, like, honestly, brave it out. I promise you, it does pay off. And, I know kind of like the Soska sisters have come out and, kind of come off as like political and stuff like this. And, for me, the Soska sisters, their movies are hit and miss. I will say I was not a fan of their Rabid remake, but American Mary is amazing. American Mary is one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. It's fantastic. Dead Hooker in a Trunk is a lot of fun. Their sequel, See No Evil 2, I mean, these girls have had way more hits than misses. And honestly, it's like, I was a little trepidatious going into this movie, but it did pay off. And one thing that is really, really great is that you can still see with the Soska sisters that their love for the horror genre is still strong, and they're still into it and everything else. And honestly, Festival of the Living Dead, I would say give it a shot. It's free on Tubi. That's the best part. If you watch the movie, you don't have to pay anything. You got Tubi, it's free. But yeah, give it a shot if you're in the mood for a good zombie film. You got some good fun action sequences. There's plenty of gore to go around, and everything. Like, that's one thing. Like, the Soska sisters, they're horror fans, and they know what the horror fans want. So, yeah, I actually very much recommend this movie. I had a blast watching it, and I'll be honest, if somewhere down the line, if a Blu-ray 4K came out of it, I'd pick it up. So that's it. So yeah, but honestly, yeah, give the movie a shot. It's not nearly as bad as you might think. If you're thinking it's like, oh boy, it's going to be one of these woke movies, give it a shot. Kind of stick it out. I think it's going to be one of those deals. Like, see, this is what we're talking about. You could put these kind of elements in it. You can have a female lead who's a strong woman of color, but just make her a good character. And Ash is a good character in the movie. So is Iris. Stuff like this. Make good, relatable characters that people can care about, kind of like, you can put, like I said, you can have a handicapped character in a movie, but, stuff like this, you could put these elements in a movie, but just make a good movie above and first and foremost. And that was the thing. That's what I really enjoyed about Festival of the Living Dead. It was, first and foremost, a genuinely good film. And just a fun, it's a run-of-the-mill zombie movie. It doesn't reinvent the genre in any way or anything like that. But, but it does have, you could tell there is some affection to George Romero and his legacy and things like this. So, but I would say, yeah, give it a shot. Anyway, I think I've rambled on way more than long enough. So that's it. So if anybody took the time to watch this, I thank you for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, could you please leave it a like? And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the Body Bags channel. We have, more fun stuff coming up. And, yeah, so that's it, everybody. Take care. Have a good night, and I'll see you all later. Bye.